We wanted to take a minute this morning in this recognition week and inspire you a little bit. And so we've got amazing people in our community who can do just that. And so we invited to join us this morning a special guest speaker. Her name is Xana Wolfgang. She is the owner and founder of Thrive Ranch Company right here in Brooks. So Xana is an entrepreneur, a rancher, I think she calls it a funny farmer, a self-described dream cultivator who is passionate about helping people reconnect with what matters most, to cultivate a life that they love and to thrive. Thrive Ranch Company is a nature-based experience ranch designed to help individuals, families, and teens reset, reconnect, and rediscover their purpose through grounding experiences, animals, I'm on my way, music, and meaningful conversation. Thrive Ranch hosts ranch experiences, immersive revive days, and retreats centered around three powerful pillars: grounding, personal responsibility, and gratitude. Xana is also the co-founder of Honor the Brave, a real estate program dedicated to supporting and honoring military members, veterans, and first responder families through meaningful recognition, community partnerships, and programs that give back to those who serve. While those ventures may look different on the surface, they are rooted in the same purpose for Xana: connection. Connection to ourselves, connection to each other, to gratitude, and the courage that it takes to pursue our dreams. Her work is based on a simple belief: when people reconnect with themselves and their dreams, they become a powerful force of good in the world, which is what you want to do for us every day. So I'm going to turn it over to Xana, and she's going to do a little inspiration for us this morning.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be here with you all today. Speaking is newer to me, so hopefully we can do this in a really fun, powerful way. Before I share my heart with you today, I would love to invite you, as you're finishing eating, to stand up and join me. We're going to navigate these 80 issues, so we'll see how this works, but I have it on my heart to get everyone to dance with me a little bit before we start. And so my heart around this is that we're going to dance off the heavy that life may be liking us with right now. And more importantly, we're going to dance a little bit to celebrate the magic, the messy, the miracles that are unfolding all around us all the time. And most of all, we're going to dance to celebrate being together here today and all of you guys. So if you dare, I know it may sound a little silly, but I'm asking you to get out of your comfort zone, and I promise you I'm out of my comfort zone right now too. And stand up. I'm going to turn on this tune, and our AD is going to have to work with the microphone. So we'll see how this goes. Come on.
I love that everyone got the same thing.
I really appreciate you guys joining me in that. Simple things, right? They really are the big things, and they can bring so much joy. And I hope all of you are feeling a little bit more joyful for getting a little uncomfortable with me, rolling your car, making your shoes, and dancing anyway. I feel like that's what it's all about. Gosh, a little bit about me. I moved here from Montana about 2 years ago now. And I never saw myself leaving Montana, actually. But I felt like I was called to come here, right? I still have roots there, and I'm grateful to keep them forever. And first and foremost, I will tell you that my most favorite titles are mom and mother. I'm a wife of 26 years, together 32, and raised two incredible young men that are out chasing their dreams now. And so it's on my heart to pursue a little bit more of my dreams. I will tell you that I am a music lover, though no musical talent, as you can see here. I don't heard me singing at all. But I love music, and I do believe it's one more simple thing that brings so much joy to our lives all the time. And I do say that I have musical brains, and I have random lyrics that pop in my head for any occasion. I am your musical therapist. And yes, as Paige said, I am a funny farmer. I don't consider myself a field rancher because it started with some goats on a hillside in Montana and exploded into Highland cows and alpacas and pigs and chickens and ducks and dogs and bunnies and you name it. We've got it. We just don't have our donkeys and horses yet, but I'm working on my husband on those donkeys. That said, as that all evolved, I realized that ultimately I'm a dream cultivator, and that is a title I've given myself. And partly because there was a season in my life when I realized I had stopped letting myself dream. And possibly, I never even fully allowed myself to dream, I think you get so busy going through the motions, checking the next box, the education, the career, the family, the activities, the responsibilities, which are all very important things. I don't discount any of it. But somewhere along the way, maybe we get so busy going through the motions that we stop considering the things that light us up and really pursuing our dreams. And life will life us, and I think in my case, there was a season where life really lifed our family. My husband was a police officer in the Bay Area of California, and he was run over in the line of duty and ultimately went through multiple surgeries. Still can make me emotional today to speak to that part of the journey, strangely. I think I'm not emotional about it, but there it shows up. That said, so many lessons came from it. He is well, he is good. He went through those surgeries and he came back fighting, but the city did retire him as a result of that. And it was a really dark season for him, for us, and for our family. And it shook us to our very core. But coming out the other side of that, we realized life was short. And what was our perfect canvas? And we, together as a family, with our two at the time small boys, decided to move to Montana. And it was one of the many blessings that came from what felt like the worst possible thing that could have happened to us. And we loaded up without an entire plan, but knew we would figure it out. And that was one of the seasons in my life that I began to realize the power of getting uncomfortable and just moving forward without certainty, but just trusting your gut and your faith that it's all going to be okay. And I think that was really the beginning of me seeing the power in dreaming. Eventually, we had 32 acres in Montana, and so, I needed some goats. And so it began like that. And I just started really observing as I was having to be outside every day, just the beauty of it, and realizing that I had lost sight of the most simple things that were the most important things. And as I invited people out to enjoy, just coming over and enjoying the majestic mountains and that big sky view and the animals, I started seeing shifts in people as they just stepped outside and returned to nature and returned to themselves. And then eventually I decided I needed Highland cows and then alpacas and then pigs and then chickens and ducks and dogs and bunnies, yes, and kittens. And so we have all of these things. And I never saw ourselves leaving Montana because it's Montana. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no one more beautiful or majestic in the world, maybe equally, but not more. But my husband had had an opportunity down this way that had revisited him several times, and so we explored it because you don't know what you don't know. And at that time, our sons were grown and off in Tennessee, so we could explore it at that moment. And as we did, he realized the opportunity wasn't for him. But I fell in love somehow with this area and felt like this is where I'm supposed to do this. And what this is sharing my heart and changing the world one heart at a time. And I know that might sound silly and naive, and on a level it can be. But on the flip side, I know that I can't do that alone, but we and everyone we ripple out to can do that. I'm not unaware that there is a lot of heavy and there's a lot of hard and there's a lot of ugly that's happening in this world today. But I know that there's not necessarily anything I can do about those things. What I do know is there is something about what I can do about how I show up every day and cultivate the joy in my life and pay attention to the things that light me up and do more of it to bring more joy into my life. And when I'm being intentional about being my best self and owning things, personal responsibility, that is a really big thing that I speak to at the ranch. What that looks like when folks come out is there's poop. There's a whole lot of it. It's everywhere. And it's your responsibility not to step in it when you come. But you might step in it. And it's also your responsibility to deal with it, if you do. And we have horns and we have hooves, and everybody's very friendly. But again, it's your responsibility to be aware of where those heads are swinging so that nobody gets hurt. And that's not unlike life. And I think we live in a time right now where we're not focused as much as we can be on the superpower that personal responsibility can be and cultivating joy. And so we have a saying in our home called, "So what, now what?" I in fact have it tattooed right here on my arm. But so what, now what? Life is going to happen. The good, the hard. But the now what is where our power lies. Everything that occurs isn't our responsibility in the sense of we may not have control of what unfolds, but our power lies in how we choose to move forward. And so that leap of faith to Montana, growing this funny farm that turned out to be a dream, I never in a million years would have known that I had. If you would have asked me that my joy would come from shoveling poop every day, I would have laughed at you 10 years ago. But quite frankly, I do find the most joy every day having a reason to be out there in nature. It's where I talk to God. I look up and I see that sun shining through the trees or the rain falling on my face, and I engage with these incredible, majestic animals that are so soulful and so unconditional. We can learn so much from these animals, both my livestock and, coming from Montana, we would have 200 head of elk coming through the property. And we had bears and lions and wolves and coyotes. We had the messy, we had all of it. And it was all so beautiful, so brutal sometimes, as I would see an elk injured and left behind by the herd and find its way back to health and join the herd again, or not. But my gosh, did I learn so much about what I don't have to complain about when I observed the brutality and the beauty of nature. And I observe that every day with all of our animals, how they coexist. People ask me, did you do a lot of research on having all these animals together? Because they coexist. We don't have separate pens. They all live together. And I said, no, I didn't. I just started adding things, and it's been incredible to watch the way that they navigate things so beautifully, and they're so soulful. They mourn when we've had a couple goats pass away, and those animals truly mourn. They won't eat. They won't go in the same space for a while. They have to walk through that. But then they still show up every day with love for each other, with love for me, and I like to think it's more than just that I feed them every day. But it's really a beautiful thing. And as I had the blessing of building this dream, I just started seeing everyone else that got to come and be a part of this impacted too. And as I was out at the bunny farm one day, as I call it, and it was literally, it was in the negatives that day. It was cold. This was still in Montana, obviously. I, don't always want to get up when it's that cold and go do the things. But once I was out there, I was always so grateful that I got out there. And it made me realize how important it is to get outside and get grounded in nature. And I think it's something, while we have so much beautiful progress, we're losing sight of those simple things that are so impactful. And it's on my heart to invite people to embrace more of that in their lives, whether it's coming and having an experience with me at the ranch,
or just walking away from here today, being a little more intentional about those simple things. And I looked around that day, and we have a lot of buckets, and I always have songs singing in my pocket, because our music is on our phones these days. And the song Bucket List by Mitchell Tenpenny was singing in my pocket. I like all music, but I am a country girl. And I just reflected on all of it, and I thought, my gosh, this is a thing in my bucket list, this life that I'm creating that I wouldn't have known. And so it's so important also to reevaluate our dreams, because we evolve. And as we evolve, so do our dreams. And maybe we need to invite room to make them happen. I think so often as we get older, we think, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Why not? Why not still pursue the things that light you up and pay attention to it? And so we now have our best life buckets when people come for an experience at the farm. And in my perfect world, they'd be in every home, every school, every office, because they're clearly not magic buckets. But the conversations that come around considering what your dreams are and taking time to actually write it down and add it to that bucket, that's what we did with our boys. And so we were really aware of their dreams, and they were really aware of my dreams and my husband's dreams, and we all are still evolving in those dreams. And it is not something we should ever stop evolving in. And it doesn't have to be moving your whole funny farm from Montana to Georgia like a crazy person like me. It might be as simple as, I want to have dinner with my family more nights a week than not at the dinner table. The intentionality, right? The things that are going to make our lives meaningful. That's what's on my heart, is just empowering people to live a life they love. And we have our Let It Go bucket, which, life is hard and heavy. And so we have that when folks come out, to just let go of maybe what's in their way. Or, when we've got the little kids out there, it's, if you had a hard day at school today, or someone was mean to you, you know what? We can't change it, but we can let it go. Now what? And so we invite people to just write it down. Again, it's not magic, but taking the time to be intentional about it is pretty powerful. And as a community, you might learn something about your peer, or your child, or your parent, and what they're needing to let go of, or dreaming of. And then gratitude is self-explanatory. Simple things, so powerful. I believe what we appreciate appreciates. And so if we walk through life looking at the blessings, looking at doing the dishes with gratitude for the fact that you had this incredible meal, rather than the fact that you have to do the dishes. I still wish someone would magically fold the socks in underwear. But that said, that is my heart to share with all of you guys today. I want to invite you guys to fill your buckets before you leave. I'm gonna leave a set of the buckets for you guys. I don't know exactly how it's set up over at the hospital, but for you guys to put in a space there. And you guys are the joy, and you have such an opportunity for folks walking through whatever they're walking through when they walk through those hospital doors, maybe facing that season where it feels like the worst thing is happening to them. And maybe shed a little bit of light for them and invite them maybe just to let go of that heavy. Maybe they're not in the mood to dream because of what they're facing being so hard in that moment. But if we can invite them to explore what they have to be grateful for, even in that hard. And it will change the way that they navigate their day. It'll change the way that you navigate your day. And that is how we create that ripple that does change the world, one heart at a time. So I'm just inviting you guys to be more intentional with me about cultivating our dreams and living a life we love and being that ripple in this world, which you clearly are, or you wouldn't be here. I've heard so much about this volunteer community, and that it began before the hospital even began 30 plus years ago. How incredible is your guys' service and this community. And that's one of the things I love so much about my experience here in the South, is just that kindred heart and kindness. I've been so embraced, and I thank this wonderful community for that. So before you leave today, if you want to stop over there and fill out anything on your heart, add it to those buckets. Again, it's not magic, but it is intentional. And say a prayer with it. And I think we can do some pretty big things together. And thank you so much. Oh, and come visit me at the honey farm. In fact, ladies, tonight I'm having a thankful Thursday night. Sadly, it's just for ladies tonight, but we will do something for the men. So if anyone's interested, let me know. We will have some good sips to celebrate what we're grateful for, and you'll get to visit the animals for a couple hours.
greatly appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing your animals.
Anyone else?
Yeah, look forward to it.
Where's Brooks?
Yeah, so I look forward to seeing the animals at the